Shirley here with Jupiter, a point of Talis. And this is an episode where we're talking about a Mars night. So let's put on some deneb algedi. It's actually Saturn night, Mars day, Saturn night. Put on some deneb algedi. And top it up with another Saturn stellium, which is fiery wall of protection. So we got Phoenix, Black Phoenix Alchemy Lab, Sphere and Sundry, and Austin Kopok for Sphere and Sundry. So two fascinating works. Deneb algedi is a fixed star in 23 degrees Aquarius, and fiery wall of protection is a series of planets that target the decans of Capricorn. So it's invoking a decan of Capricorn. I don't remember which decan. And then we got a stellium in Capricorn, so this is Saturn ruled. So overkill to what? Say it together with me. MK. Okay? Overkill to MK. And that's the point of it at the times that we are. And it's a good thing to discuss programming. I'm going to add some of my work, and that would be Pluto in Aquarius. So I've been working with that lovely combo today. So, by the way, they're all very tasty. You should not consume them. Not chronically, anyway. So, yeah. I talked a little bit about my work with Pluto. It's going to give you the core issue about things. And Aquarius, Pluto Aquarius has to do with programming, the power of programming. But Pluto is a decomposition. So when you want to do deprogramming, it's a good intention to set to Pluto, okay, deprogramming. And let's talk about the karma, Saturn, of interfering in people's nervous systems, Aquarius. Now, first of all, we're going to have Saturn in Pisces conjoining Neptune while it sextiles Pluto. It's going to be a very interesting thing because Saturn rules Pluto now. So it's going to be a combination where there is some sort of a dissolution of programming while dissolution of Saturn by Neptune. Okay? So Saturn is bringing Pluto to quasi-conjunct Neptune through rulership while Pluto sextile. So it's going to be very fascinating from the core aspect. It's even more so than Saturn-Neptune because now Saturn rules Pluto. This makes it a very fascinating conjunction, and a little bit about the thoughts, the things that are coming up. First of all, when we talk about interference in the nervous system of people, okay, we have a lot of cases of neurodegenerative diseases. And one of the diseases of the puppeteer in that equation that is usually puppeteered is indeed neurodegenerative issue. Okay, if you set your mind, for example, when I was doing channeling experiment, I always love to talk about myself before I talk about others. I was training my mind for half a year to be receptive to channeling. Okay? Then you think about Archangel Michael, which is good to invoke when we work with the fiery wall of protection. So Archangel Michael. Let's say you call on Archangel Michael, okay? Now, the government sundial other governments, so that people listen. You tune into a certain frequency, and so you got many things going on the frequency you have no idea about, and they're all interested. Who is this? Who is this other radio? Okay, who that new radio? Who pointed that antenna? Okay, let's see who and what is this person. Now you have no idea what are you channeling, and they have no idea who you are. So everybody wants to get to know everybody, and that creates a certain level of communication, which is kind of like alien ET phone home, but did we reach the same galaxy? And so um, when I tuned myself already to receive these channelings, okay, it's not a factor of tuning down. It's a factor of adapting my nervous system to do what is beneficial for me, okay, to not to overstep my boundaries, and of course, in favor of humanity is good, but not to overstep my boundaries, and I come with my own disposition. So when we talk about the puppeteer, when we talk about people who actively try to invade other people's nervous system and control them, they're basically what they're degenerating is their own nervous system. You want to think about Pluto is controlling. Pluto, wherever Pluto is, it shows you that the transformation from the core is of the self. Okay? And so when you set intention to do that, then this is where you reap, okay, the reward, the authenticity. You can become more and more authentic. And then Pluto showers you over with growth. Okay? And well, by the way, one of the best advice givers that I had was before I started channeling was M, and M channeled the planets, and she talked about Pluto. She said Pluto appreciates authenticity, and you see when you intention comes a long way with the outer planets. As I was channeling Peter R. de Vries, I had Neptune over my Pluto, and that was a time where I was getting to know Pluto as the planet of the compost, and also his Pluto sextile mine, and I was dissolving the fear of Pluto, basically dissolving trauma at that time. So that was a fascinating combo. Um, and so when you talk about being in control, it's never of another. Okay? It's never of another. And what the alchemy that Pluto brings is to bring you back to yourself. Now, of course, when people went through MK Ultra programming, like in the 50s or even before that, since infanthood or since childhood, then going back to what? What is the self? Sometimes the torture in the womb. They never had a self. So it's easier said than done. But again, with Pluto setting intention to deprogram, and here there is, it's not for nothing, and I work with the deneb algedi, is called Black Phoenix, okay, Alchemy Lab. And that we talk about the symbol of the phoenix. It's a symbol of rebirth. And I think this is a good time to join another birthing talisman that's Caitlin Kopok herself doing Thema Mundi. When I say herself, not because she didn't do the other ones, but here she was the one who was doing it hands-on. That means when you buy Thema Mundi, it's pre-ordered, and you get it basically consecrated by Caitlin herself. So let me find that one. So for some people, let's say satanic ritual abuse survivors, they're survivors from infanthood, deprogramming is, or coming back to the self, is basically a rebirth. And sometimes it's not even a rebirth because it's a birth. And this is something that I think I'll wait for the people who will start deprogramming. Some of them we see as satanic ritual abuse survivors. Some people, I'm sure, within the cults are going through internal processes. And let's enjoy some. This is Thema Mundi Oli, the oil. very tender, very unexpected, warm, cozy. There's something warm and cozy. Um, and so one of the things that let's put it in a better way. Okay, this is what I like about the theme of Mundi is what I do want. Okay, focusing on increasing the good, and um, when you are setting those intentions and talk about the rebirth or the birthing of the self, what you're going to see is curation from. So you first of all curation from being the type of person that interferes in other people's nervous systems. Okay, so curation from neurodegenerative diseases. Okay, and this is highly important because as you go back to the self, you're going to see you're starting to curate from neurodegenerative diseases. Also, if you are going through being targeted or targeted individual, let's take a look. Okay, let's take an example. Your hand. Okay, let's say somebody targets one of your fingers. You're gonna see it's gonna be more challenging to control for that movement of that finger. Now, what you want to do is pay extra attention. So what happens is rebirth. You're becoming even more aware of your own body. And so what happens from the core, you are regenerating your nervous system. This is Pluto and Aquarius work. You want to think about something you haven't been paying attention to. And now you are basically taking your place inside your own body, inside your own nervous system. So you are what? You're regenerating your nervous system. And you want to think about that because when people set intention, and then I can also set intention to curate anybody that has been trying to control my nervous system regains self-trust. And self-trust in the nervous system. So they can regain self-trust of their own nervous system in all phases. They don't have to suddenly switch phases, which was the result of the electrocution that some people went through. And that's already set an intention for the entire nervous system to curate. Now with Saturn, Saturn is going to tell you where is that regeneration. So let's say now Saturn in Pisces, you're going to see it. Now Mercury is conjunct in Saturn, so I talked about the hands. Mercury rules hands. And Pisces also rules feet. Okay? And so Jupiter rules lungs. So you're going to be having more sensation as you focus on it, and then your nervous system regenerates itself. Okay, what's happening?